Hi everyone, welcome back to the Low Content Book Publishing for Beginners video series. My name is Rachel Harrison Sund, and I've built a 6-figure low content book publishing business, and I'm here to help you do the same thing. So in today's video, I'm just going to go over 3 simple tips for keyword research. Now you've already been doing keyword research in the first 2 stages of idea generation and idea validation, but I'm just going to give you a couple of extra tips here to help you out. Keywords are so important. I cannot overstate how important the proper keywords are. When I think about my business, honestly, I can say that I think most of my success has been attributed to doing keyword research the right way. I've been able to create 6 figures in profits. I have never ever had to spend so much as a dime on advertising. In fact, I have never used a single marketing method whatsoever. I publish my books and I essentially just set it and forget it. I might want to change up some keywords or some categories once in a while, but after I hit that publish button, I as of yet have never had to actually use any marketing efforts. Now, I'm not saying that might not change in the future, but I'm just trying to illustrate the point here of how important keyword research really is. So your main goal when you're generating keywords obviously is you want to create a list of highly relevant and low competition keywords. So the first tip, which probably is obvious and sounds very simple, but it really does work, is to just sit down and think about what are the actual words that people are going to be typing into the Amazon search bar when they're looking for your book. And just think of as many different variations of that as you can come up with. So, if you've done a lined journal, what are some other words for a journal? Somebody might type in lined notebook. They might type in diary. Again, I know that's a really simple tip, but some people honestly forget about all of those other words that people might actually be searching for. So you just want to sit down and generate that list of all the other words that you can think of that people might type into that search bar. The second tip, which really does piggyback on the first one, in terms of thinking about other words that people might use, is to open up a thesaurus. You might not have a physical one, but you can definitely get one online, and type in whatever your keyword is and see what other words pop up. There are likely going to be, at least a couple, in some cases, many other words that you might not have thought of, that people might be searching into Amazon search bar when they're looking for your type of book. So a thesaurus is a great way to get some of those extra words. The third tip is using insider lingo. So this is a really good one, if you're doing something with a theme around something that's a little bit more obscure. So, just as a really quick example, we'll take bullet journals as an example. There's an entire community around bullet journals, and one of the words that I never would have thought of, because, I do have a bullet journal, but I'm not into doing all that crazy cool stuff that some of these other big time bullet journal enthusiasts are into. They call them bujos. You may or may not have heard of that, but that's just a really good example of insider lingo. So you really want to be thinking about what the people that are actually going to be using that book, are there any special terminology that the average Joe, might never have heard of, but people that are within that particular interest or hobby might be using. And finally, what you want to do when you've got all of those extra keywords that you've just discovered, you want to go back to the idea validation stage, and you want to perform that idea validation process on each one of those new keywords. And the reason you want to do this is, you might have generated a list of 10, 20, 30, additional keywords, and you might not know which ones to use because you can't really use all of them. So when you're publishing your book, Amazon's going to ask you for 7 keywords. You'll have 7 slots to enter those keywords. In addition, you can use your keywords in the title field, the subtitle field, and even the series and author fields but obviously they have to sound natural. You can't just stuff in as many keywords as you want in there. Amazon is very strict with that, and it's really not going to help you in the long run anyways. But because you only have a certain number of keywords, you want to know that you're using keywords that are relevant but also have low competition. So taking those additional keywords through the idea validation process stage again will help you to determine which ones are more competitive than others, in which case you might want to steer clear of using those ones altogether. And you want to be using keywords that are a little less competitive, and you also want to kind of run the spectrum a little bit. So if you want to throw in one or two competitive keywords, that's fine, but then just also make sure you're using a handful of keywords that have more of a moderate competition, and then throw in one or two or three keywords that have a really, really low competition as well. Some that are a little bit more obscure, and that will just kind of help flesh it out and give you the full spectrum of keywords that will help you the most in the end. So there are quite a few tools out there that can help you with keywords, and I will get to some of those tools in subsequent videos, but I do think it's important when you're first starting out to get that solid foundation in there and just know how to do keyword research properly just by using Amazon, and then you can get a little bit fancier later on down the line. So that's it. Thanks for joining me again here today, guys. If you'd like a walkthrough of the entire low content book publishing process, all the way from idea generation right through to hitting that publish button, then be sure to get my freebie, 3 steps to publishing your first low content book in less than a day. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. For other low content book publishing tips, be sure to check out my blog over at rachelharrisonsund.com. And of course, if you're finding these videos helpful, then don't forget to hit subscribe and you'll get notified when the next video comes out. Thanks, guys.